Hello, welcome Nigerian farmers to your program Back to Farm. Back to Farm is a program where we expose the potentials lying in agricultural sector. My name is Joshua Ishaya. Today on the program, we'll be looking at the surprising power of chicken manure on plants as substitute for inorganic fertilizer. Stay tuned. Poultry manure is an organic waste material comprising of urine and feces of poultry birds. The manure is obtained by removing and cleaning the bedding and the poultry houses along with poultry feces. Annually, 20,000 tons of poultry manure is generated globally for every 10,000 birds, with an average weight of 1.81 kg per bird. By population, chicken produces the largest poultry manure both as egg producers and meat. Poultry manure contains almost all 13 essential plant nutrients needed by plants, with approximately 65.5% of the nitrogen, 83.5% of potassium, and 68.5% of phosphorus. It also contains calcium, magnesium, copper, iron, manganese, sulfur, boron, molybdenum, cobalt, zinc. These are mostly not found in inorganic fertilizer. The nutrients in the manure are mainly supplied by its components made up of the feed, water supplements, and medications consumed by the animals. The manure is basically as a result of fecal droppings, feathers, waste from dead birds, bedding materials, and hatcheries fluff. As the poultry industry expands globally, it is becoming increasingly challenging to properly manage the waste produced. It has become pollutant and recipe to increase the greenhouse gas effect. A significant amount of solid waste is produced by the global expansion of poultry businesses. Over 90% of poultry waste is frequently excreted on properties around poultry farms. These include bedding supplies, human trash, food scraps, feathers, hatchery waste, dead birds, slaughterhouses waste, and residual medication such as insecticide from cleaning a poultry building. As a result, effective environmental management of manure as a chicken byproduct requires appropriate knowledge of its composition and impact. This information must be put into practice in order to effectively develop, install, and run basic waste management system in farms suitable for the general use of manure to prevent its potentially harmful impact on wildlife, the environment, and people. Chicken manure is an excellent fertilizer for gardens, big and small. It is rich in nutrients that improve the health of your plants. In fact, it's often referred to as black gold by gardeners because of its ability to give plants a significant boost. However, selecting correct type of chicken manure is essential, as applying it correctly. We'll look at the different kinds of poultry manure and how to age it for better result. We'll also look at how and when to apply it to your garden. Chicken manure is an organic fertilizer derived from chicken. It's typically rich in nitrogen and nutrients, making it an effective fertilizer for garden yards and crops. One estimate puts the level of nitrogen and phosphorus in chicken manure at twice that of farm manure needed. It becomes a popular fertilizer for both human gardens and commercial farms, as it can improve plants' growth and yield. Poultry manure also relatively easy to obtain, given the obscurity of chickens in most places. However, chicken manure may also contain harmful bacteria, and you should use it cautiously. While it has a wide range of uses, manure from chicken poses environmental concerns if not properly managed.
This is our breeding yard.
The release is methane when decomposing, a potent greenhouse gas. As a result, chicken farmers must prevent methane emission from their farms. One way to do this is to collect the manure in anaerobic digesters, which break down the manure without emitting methane into the atmosphere. When properly used, chicken manure is guaranteed to improve your plant health. There are two main types of poultry manure: fresh and aged. Fresh chicken manure is high in nitrogen and ammonia and may burn plant if it's not properly used. Aged chicken manure is lower in nitrogen but still contains other vital nutrients. When using chicken manure as fertilizer, selecting the right type for your plant is critical. If you plan on using fresh chicken manure, compost, or age it first, this reduces the amount of ammonia and makes it safer for your plants. You can apply aged chicken manure directly to your garden if you plan on using aged chicken manure. It is also critical to know how much chicken manure to use. Too much can damage your plants. Use a small amount and then increase it gradually as your plants become accustomed. Chicken manure typically comes in bags that you can buy at the store. This commercially processed variety has been dried and pulverized or pelleted. Dry manure is more concentrated than fresh chicken manure, which is more than 75% water. Dried poultry manure is usually sterilized and odor-free, unlike fresh manure that's stinky and may contain harmful pathogens such as Salmonella and E. coli. Before applying it to your garden, you should first age or compost fresh manure from hens. Aging poultry manure destroys harmful pathogens and reduces the ammonia content, making it safer for you and your garden. There are two ways to do this. First, you can simply leave the manure in a pile, let it decompose over time. However, this process takes several months. You may want to plan ahead. The second easier way is to compose the manure in a pile. The process is faster and yield high quality and safer fertilizer. Each year, Africans farmers raise billions of chicken, more than enough for a chicken for every pot, as Herbert Hoover campaign once promised. But all those birds mean a lot of something else: manure. Poultry litter is the mix of manure and bedding materials coming from the poultry industry. Farms produce millions of tons each year. Like other animals' waste, poultry litter is a natural choice as a farm fertilizer. Although it's widely used, there's still a lot we don't know about how and if poultry litter helps crop. In the new research, scientists tested that. They look at how applying poultry litter to fields over several years will affect the soil and crops grown afterwards. The work was recently published in Soil Science Society. Farmers often come to Feng and his colleagues asking how to best use poultry litter, so the team has been researching the best answers. The upshot that was soil removing poultry litter should save farmers about one watering event a season. That means money saved. In other words, the soil could let more rainwater get into the soil and hold rainwater for rain crops to use them. The field is dry or save irrigation costs for irrigated land. Another important component of soil is how much carbon it holds and how carbon-based organic matter usually improves soil. Although the poultry litter added a lot of carbon over the years, the carbon tended to evaporate as carbon dioxide in the hot and humid regions, so at the end of the experiment, the soil carbon did not change a lot. Because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, tracking soil carbon also gave the scientists insight into greenhouse emission. Results overall provide basis for developing guidelines for greenhouse gas emission prediction and for more realistic expectation of soil carbon improvement from applying poultry dung. Now, let's look at applying chicken manure, how and when. Chicken manure can be applied in two ways, as a side dressing or a compostee. Side dressing is when the manure is applied directly to the soil around the base of plant. The method is best for established plants that are already growing well. For young plants or seedlings, try a compostee. Now, let's talk about the compostee. It's made by soaking chicken manure in water, which then leaches out the nutrients. The tea is then watered into the soil, providing a gentle dose of nutrient that will not harm young plants. Now, bagged versus composted chicken manure. The type of chicken manure determines its application. You can apply bagged manure at any time. Trees, shrubs, and other evergreens are usually fertilized in spring. Flowers and vegetables are also fertilized in spring and often during the growing season. Poultry manure also contains a variety of other minerals that improve soil health. The high organic content of chicken manure helps to improve soil erosion and drainage, while the low level of the soil prevents the soil from becoming waterlogged. It's relatively easy to obtain and can be used fresh or composted. It breaks down quickly in the soil, releasing its nutrient within a few weeks. That said, chicken litter can also be stinky and contains high ammonia levels and harmful pathogens. Compost improperly before using it in garden, otherwise you will run the risk of overwhelming your plants with too much ammonia. Using chicken manure fertilizer is an excellent way to give your plants the nutrients they need to thrive. Just make sure your compost is properly. Poultry dung is an excellent low-cost fertilizer if used properly. Land application of litter returns nutrients and organic matter to the soil. The building soil fertility and quality in addition to the macronutrients. NP and K poultry manure contains calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and micronutrients. Land application of poultry manure should be managed to recycle plant nutrients rather than for disposal. Increasing environmental concerns about agriculture and non-point source pollution make it imperative to use poultry litter in the manner most beneficial for the environment, both on and off the farm. Determine crop nutrient requirement based on a realistic yield goal and soil test data. Determine the nutrients of the dung. Crop nutrients required poultry litter should not be applied to soil beyond the limits of growing crops. Nutrients needs. These ensure efficient use of manual nutrients and minimize nutrients leaching or runoff into the surface and groundwater system. Any soil scheduled to receive poultry litter should be tested to determine fertility level. Periodic soil testing is recommended to monitor the nutrient supplying capability of the soil. Fertility recommendations based on soil test results are the only reliable way to determine the crop nutrient requirement. Soil testing is available through soil, water, and forage analytical laboratory and still water, as well as a number of commercial laboratories. Crop nutrient needs are given in the interpretation and requirement section of the soil test reports. You can also determine crop nutrients needs using extension fact sheets. Soil test interpretations. Contact the local extension office for instructions and supplies for taking and submitting soil samples. Fertilizer value of litter. The nutrient content of poultry litters varies quite a bit. Fertilizer value depends on the type of birds, age of the litter, and litter moisture content. It is also a good idea to take a sample and test the litter for nutrients prior to cleaning out a poultry house. Use the test result to calculate how much litter to apply to your farm. Litter samples should be representative of the entire house or litter pile in the storage. Sampling animals manure for analysis for details on Manure sampling results are reported as pounds of nutrients per ton on a dry and as it basis as it means the amount of nutrients per ton of moisture contents when the samples was taken normally. As a member, I used to rate calculation the average moisture content of broiler litre. Availability of litre nutrient to crops. The reported values are not equivalent to nutrients in commercial fertilizer because not all the nutrients listed on the manure analysis reports are readily available to a crop in the year of application. Some elements are released when organic matter is decomposed by microorganisms. Nitrogen may be lost to the atmosphere by ammonia volatilization and denitrification, or lost below the root zone through leaching. Nitrogen availability during the year of application varies greatly and ranges from about 30 to 80%. Nitrogen is present in both organic and inorganic forms. Organic nitrogen must be converted into inorganic nitrogen to become available to plants. The amount of organic converted to plants available forms during the first cropping year after application vary according to environmental conditions and manure handling system. About 25% to 50% of the organic becomes available during the year of application. All the inorganic are readily available to plants. However, if the litter layers exposed on the soil surface considerable, may be released to their air as ammonia gas. Ammonium walk into the soil and subject to notification, conversion. Is readily available to plants, but if excess water is present, it can be lost through leaching or denitrification. Land application rate should be based on the nutrient requirements of the crop. Too little manure application will not provide sufficient nutrients for the desired crop production. Excess nutrients are a waste of resources, resulting in oil and soil phosphorus buildup, which may cause water contamination. Soil testing, litter analysis, and proper estimation of yield goals are necessary to calculate proper organic application rates of litter. Develop a manure nutrients management plan that consumes manure nutrients when supplement which commercial fertilizer to balance crop needs. Following the steps and attached worksheets to calculate in agronomic application rate. Nitrogen credit should be given to previous year's application. Application timing. Proper timing of litter application is essential for efficient use of nutrients and pollution prevention. Litter should be applied as near to field crop planting date and also close vegetable growth of the plant as possible. Applying manure outside of crop growth period decreases nutrient availability and may increase the risk of environmental quality. Grass or pasture offer flexibility when growth fields are not available. Grasses or pasture offer some flexibility when crop fields are not available. Litter applied during spring provides smarter nutrients and releases mineralized nutrients throughout the growing season. Applying litter in the fall generally results in greater nutrient loss than those spring application for warm season grasses, especially if the litter is not incorporated. Early fall application may be desirable to supply nutrients to cool season grasses. Winter application is the least desirable because litter must remain on the soil surface for 3 to 4 months ahead of the crop active growing period. Benefits of applying chicken dung. 50 pounds of nitrogen per acre is needed to produce 1 ton of grass forage. This is true whether the nitrogen comes from commercial fertilizer or poultry litter. Poultry litter has been shown to improve the quality of forage as well as increase yields. Compared to the effect of poultry litter and commercial nitrogen fertilizer on the production of Bermuda grass in southeastern Oklahoma. Poultry litter not only increase forage yields but also increase protein content over control, and commercial fertilizer plots higher yields and protein content at similar rates of litter, and commercial fertilizer may result from the fact that litter provides a slow release nitrogen fertilizer, improves soil quality and reduces soil acidity. On that note, many thanks for staying with us on Agriculture Research Council of Nigerian Television. My name remains Joshua Ishaya. See you same time, same station. Bye for now.